Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my studio here in Hana. This is Mr. Carlos, and I'm going to bring you another art project. I hope you like the first one. The second one is called pop-ups, and I'm going to teach you how to make a pop-up. A pop-up is a way to turn two-dimensional paper into a nice 3D art project, and you can use it to decorate your home or give to a loved one as a nice little card. So here is the pop-up that we're going to do today. And I'm going to show you how to make this from start to finish. After we finish this one, I'm going to stick around for a few advanced techniques for older kids who might want to try something harder. And in the meantime, let's get started on making this pop-up, because once you learn to make this, everything else is just working at it harder, using your imagination, and trying to stretch the envelope as far as you can. So, again, I've set up my workstation. Over here, I have what I call my tools, which you'll need a glue stick, a roll of tape, a pair of scissors, a pencil, and maybe some glue. Over here, I call my decorating section. I'm using colored pencil. You can use marker, you can use crayon. I'm also using watercolor. You can use watercolor, anything you got you can use. This is just what I have. I have a Sharpie for making the message, okay? I also have these magazines here for cutting out pictures and collaging them on, and I will show you a sample at the end of this class. But let's make this nice little heart pop-up, and then we'll move on to some other things. So here's how you begin. I'll leave this here so you can keep looking at it. Okay. All right. I start with a full piece of paper. I cut it in half, and this is my main piece of paper, and I cut it in half again, and these I use to make my pop-ups with. So here's the part you really got to pay attention. You take this piece of paper, you fold it in half. I also like this size paper because it's a nice little card size, as you can see. You hold the paper with the fold towards you. Take your pencil. Now you need a straight edge. I just use a piece of paper. And I draw a straight line about an inch, maybe a little more, from the fold. Can you see that? Also, starting from the fold right in the center of the paper, I use my finger to just guess. I draw two lines right up to that first line. And I just put my finger there so I know that I want this to be wide. I don't want to draw something skinny. So that's why I put my big fat finger there. Next step, I take a pair of scissors. Again, this is the fold of the paper. And I cut right up to that line. And I make another cut up to that line. And what I come up with is a kind of a flap, you can see. Okay, now here's the part that gets a little tricky. But once you get it once, you never forget it. You always can do it again. I open up the paper. I take my finger and I push that little tab through. I grab onto it. You see the way I'm making something that looks like a chair? I lay everything down and I fold again. That is the most basic and important part of making a pop-up, because now when you open it up, you have this little seat there. I call it a base. You can see it behind my heart here, and all I've done is I've made a heart shape and I've glued it onto it, and it works as a pop-up, and I will show you how to do that. Obviously, many of you know how to make a heart. I fold the paper in half. I draw half of the heart. I cut it out with paper. there's my heart that will go on my base. Very easy, very simple. You can put anything there. You can put trees, you can make a house, you can put an animal, you can take a picture from a magazine. This I just thought would be nice. So I'm going to quickly go through the coloring process so you can see. Before I attach my heart, I do the coloring. And when I draw hearts, even though everybody likes to draw them just red, I think hearts can be many different colors and have all kinds of different aspects to them. So I'm a multicolor person. Okay, so there's my heart. I'm choosing to do it in pencil. Now I'm going to take my big dark marker. I'm going to write, this time I'm going to write block letters. This is a nice message. I didn't leave too much room for the E. And just for fun, we're going to have some green love. Okay, how about that? All right, green love on a red heart. So, as you can see in this one, I did a much more careful job, and I encourage you to do a more careful job. In this case, I'm going to use a glue stick to glue it on, and I'll glue it on now, and then we can color the rest. You can work both ways. You can color it in first, then glue this on at the end, or you can glue it on first and then color it in. The only thing is when you have this glued on, it gets in your way. But we'll do it anyway just so you can see how it works. Glue stick. Okay, remember when you use a glue stick, try to find a scrap piece of paper that you can glue underneath, so you can glue underneath you so you don't ruin your table at home or anything like that. Okay, I've twisted my glue stick out. Now, I'm only going to stick it to here, so I don't need glue anywhere but the very bottom. Okay. And then you also have to remember that, think of this as the sky and this is the earth. Okay, and the earth is the bottom, and in this case the earth is flat. So you can't have your heart go any further than right to connecting to the earth. You don't want it to go down below, so you always have to plan ahead and make sure, and notice how I press so that glue stick really works. And there, we could stop the class right here. You have your pop-up ready to go. The rest is coloring, and you know me, I love to use colors. I love for you to use different materials. I think it's very important that you color the whole thing, because if you ask me, this looks kind of lonely out there. So I guess I will. I put a yellow brick road there just for fun, and so you can engage your. Now I'm going to go quickly because I figure you know what to do once you see me do it. And if you just watch me, I don't even have to say words. You can just watch. Okay, there's the yellow brick road. Now here's some grass at the bottom. I also want you to notice that I color right up to the heart so that it looks convincing that it's all working together. And here's my dark green. Now remember, I am going fast. I encourage you to go slow, to use your imagination, to have all kinds of, oh, look what I did over there, okay? So I even go up the fold. Okay, there's my coloring job on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to quickly switch to my watercolor. We'll just do a little blue. Maybe a little purple down at the bottom, because it's darker down at the bottom, lighter up at the top. Okay, so there. Now the problem with watercolor though is you have to let it dry before you can, move on. But there we go. I will leave these mountains out, but I want you to see I put mountains in, you could put houses in, all kinds of things, okay? So there is your pop-up. It's no harder than that. Now, if you want to make it into a card, I am going to make sure that you get handed out construction paper, so you have some to use. And I unfortunately had a piece ready, but it got blown away. Everything's getting blown away. I take a half a sheet, fold it in half, get my glue stick out, put a lot of glue on there. I make this fold, match this fold, push it all back together. Again, I'm doing this very fast and I'm not as neat as I could be, but I know you at home can do better and might want to do better. And also, by putting this piece of paper on the back, you add strength so that it becomes a nice, solid pop-up that says love, and you can give this to someone you love and say, here, this is for you. Enjoy. So that is how you make a basic pop-up. Now you can, I want to show two other pop-ups that I did, and we're going to move into the advanced section. Anybody, I recommend starting with making a one subject pop-up, and then go get more and more complicated from there. So I didn't mention that I had cut this out. This was going to be the outside to one of my pop-ups. Here's a pop-up here actually. So you can use, if you find a nice page from the magazine, you already have something already colored for you. Now this is a pop-up, a little more advanced, and you will see I have two things going on there. Actually, I have three. So this is for advanced students who want to do something more complicated. Now what I did, it's no trick, I just cut two tabs, and here I'll just show you quickly. And for those of you who, so I'm not going to draw the line even though I told you how, because I'm good with scissors. And the whole key to this cut is the two lines need to be about the same length. So if you want to do two things, you can do two things. And if you cut one longer than the other, again, remember this part, you push it out, sorry, trying to make sure you can see it, and then you pull everything forward and you fold it down. Always fold it back. And see, now you have two bases, just like I had here. You can put two things on. Now this was also as part of making something more advanced. This was just a little heart and very simple to understand. This one I actually made a little story out of. I also wanted to show you that I can use cutouts from the magazine and mix them with drawings of my own. So my little story here, it's kind of a twisted humor, but it's still funny. The alien ship lands, and out of the alien ship, glued to the back, comes the big giant bug. And the giant bug is saying, take me to your leader, because he's looking for the head of the country. And the little girl just thinks he's cute and says, oh, Mommy, can we have him for a pet? That's it. Just a little joke. Hope you like it. So, but I wanted this mostly to be an example of, you can tell a story, you can use magazines, you can glue to the back as part of your composition, and you can use words and things. Okay, so that's all other options for pop-up. Now I'm going to move into a few advanced steps, and I'll try and get through them quickly, but if you just want to get onto your project, I say you can stop here and go make this. Okay, but here for you advanced students, this was the first step, is learning to make them different heights, okay, that you can cut to. Now I'm going to show you my advanced project that I did. Okay, and this has several samples of things you can do to make things different. First of all, this here, it's not really a pop-up. It's just a piece of paper. Let's say I just use the triangle. Let's make a nice triangle. I just folded a little tab at the bottom. And I put some glue on it. And in this case, I used a piece of paper folded the long way. And here, we'll use this as my... And I just put the triangle in front. All right? So, and then when you fold it down, you fold it backwards. And then when you open it up, it doesn't always want to come up. You have to help it up. It's kind of like a pop-up that you have to help up. So, this was one advanced technique I used. Another one I used, I wanted to show, was my tree was a little bit heavy and it wants to droop. So on the back of the tree, as on the back of this piece drawing, I used an extra piece of paper to support it. I just glued it to the back to make it stronger. So that's something, as you make things that are big, you want to make something tall and it wants to droop over, you have to learn to support it better. So I used extra paper for that. I also wanted to show this little interesting piece here, which is a pop-up base, but instead of cutting out from the back of the paper, I just cut a strip of paper, folded it in half, folded 2 tabs, I put glue on each of the tabs, and then I put it on my piece of paper, and it makes an extra pop-up. Maybe the fold changes a little, but it makes an extra pop-up. So you can actually make pop-ups without making the cuts, although these, they work better. These are like if you want to just put something in and you don't want to keep cutting the paper, or you just want to add an additional something, or you want to just try something different, try different things. Okay, so we have the little folded down mini pop-up. We have the supported big piece of paper in the back. We have the new way to make a pop-up base, which is by folding paper. And lastly, I just wanted to point out, again, this is more about composition. Even though this is a pop-up, there's only one field of vision here, which is the heart in front of the background. Here, I've actually, by putting the giraffes all the way over here, I've created a very far background. By putting the tree over here, even though it's big, it's in the middle ground. And then by using this big blow-up and making it bigger, and also you can see the tab that I made here is longer. I'm going to show you that as the last thing I'm going to show you, and then we'll stop. And you will have to just keep viewing this to remember all these things, as I know it's a lot of information. But I made this tab special so he pushes all the way front. So I have front, middle, background, or near, close, far. And it's like drawing a picture. You start to make things, you start to think of your pop-up as more than just, oh, I got the thing to stand up. Now you're actually composing something complicated, okay? Oh, actually one other thing I also want to show is if you can get a piece of cardboard like this, it's called flat cardboard, this came from a mailing strip, and use this as your base, your base has become much stronger because this is heavier paper. Heavier paper is better. You could also use things you find around the house, like a box of Cheerios. You can cut this part out, and you can use this as your base. Could be interesting. Sounds like I got something to eat later. I wanted to show how to make the long cut because it's a little tricky. Okay, a regular cut, I cut everything from the fold. I'm going to fold the paper. From the fold, I make 2 cuts, which are the same length. Okay, and that will give me this. But I want to go further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take my scissor, and I'm going to cut just one end a little bit further. See that? So now these lines from the fold are shorter than these. Okay, and what this allows you to do is you still push it through, but you make sure that you get to the very edge of your cut and the very edge of your cut, and you see they will be, different than each other. Fold it all down, and then when you open it up, you've got a longer base sticking out further on the earth from the sky. Okay? I will also, just a word of caution, sometimes kids get really excited and they make things that are skinny and long. And these, great idea, but they're very unstable. And things don't tend to stick well, to hold up well to them. But you can try it. So these are different ways to make folds. This is a little more advanced way, so you can push further out into the space. This is so you can get a little higher. You could also make this I always recommend making your cuts wide and just using a bigger piece of paper. I think that's enough for now. If you have any questions, you can always contact me or contact Hana Arts, and they'll contact me and I will answer your questions. Or you can read this, you can look at this video more than once, and there will be a handout sheet that shows you the basic cutout. Please enjoy, please use your imagination, never stop trying, always keep inventing, and have a lot of fun. And I'll see you next time. Bye.